Hello again and welcome to another edition of Southern Country. Hi, I'm Herb Suds and welcome to the show, my friends. Today I'm very lucky to say I have Kinky Friedman with me. Welcome to Southern Country, my friend.
Great to be here, Hoy.
Good to have you here in Southern Country. Just before we get going, where'd the name Kinky come from?
Kinky is a old Jewish, no, it's not really. Kinky was given to me by my college roommate, Chinga Chabin.
Okay.
And so I'm pretty well stuck with it, and my full Christian name actually is Richard Kinky Big Dick Friedman.
Okay. That'll work.
Yeah.
All right. Singer, songwriter, novelist, humorist, politician, philanthropist, businessman, columnist, band leader, author, musician, beautician, pulp fiction author, self-styled Jewish cowboy, performer, keynote speaker, prodigal son of Texas, satirical songwriter, and self-proclaimed governor of the heart of Texas.
Sounds like a pretty unpleasant guy, actually. I see all this stuff.
That's it, and that was page 2. You've been compared to Will Rogers, Mark Twain, and Frank Zappa. That's not a bad group of guys to be in.
Well, you know, today, one thing I don't think we mentioned was a defender of strays. That we have an animal rescue place in Texas. Yeah, yes, you got that Utopia Rescue?
Utopia Rescue is coming in.
And for any animal lovers, go to utopiarescue.com. And we've been doing this about 13 years. And in this time, we've adopted thousands and thousands of dogs to good homes. And, well, you didn't know there were that many good homes, did you? There are a few.
No, I didn't.
And we also have, of course, some cats, horses, donkeys, pigs, chickens.
You do big
goats.
animals?
Yeah, we'll do anything that's at death's door. We're a never-kill sanctuary. So that's utopiarescue.com, right in the heart of Texas. And money may buy you a fine dog, but only love can make him wag his tail.
That's true. You're darn right, that's true. And we're sitting here today. You are in the middle of your springtime for Kinky tour, right here in New Jersey.
Or Springtime for Hitler tour, either one.
Okay. You're returning to the scene of the crimes of years gone by. Is that basically what it says here?
Well, not really. We're playing a bunch of places we've never played before, and then some that we have. But this is really good. We just did Levon Helm's Midnight Ramble, and that was great fun to see Levon again. And it reminded me, once again, there's very few people of any inspirational value left in music. They're all gone from politics. I mean, whatever you think about Obama or Governor Rick Perry of Texas or any of these, they're not, what they fail in is inspiration. It seems to me they don't have the inspirational level that, in other words, the ones you and I admire and really respected and were inspired by are dead. They're out.
They're history.
Yeah, that's right. And in the field of music, if you want to see something that might inspire you, you got to see an old guy. You got to go see Merle Haggard or Chris Christopherson or Willie or Bob or Levon.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of a problem we're going to be having. I just don't think there's going to be any heroes anymore. You're not going to see it like you don't. I hate to say this. I don't mean to say the music sucks today. But to honestly think there's a Jimi Hendrix out there and there's a Janis Joplin coming, you know, that just isn't true. Yeah, it's not happening. And if you're in country music, in Nashville, the worst. What they do is they've got these whorehouses of corporate whorehouses of publishing, and they'll set 3 guys like us, and we got a songwriting appointment at 4:45, Herb.
That's it.
And we go into this little room, and in the next room they've got 3 more guys and 3 more.
It's a mill down there.
Yeah, a mill. It's an infinite number of monkeys typing on it, and what do they come up with? Very, very derivative stuff, and you can't blame them because they're up against a day when you had Shel Silverstein, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Roger Miller, all writing at the same time in Nashville. You know, I mean, these are very clever, brilliant people, and I mean, I'm not putting down songwriters today. I just don't.
What do you think of the stuff they're putting out? Not much, huh? What do the artists of today?
Well, it's exactly like Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I don't see a Gary Cooper on the horizon there. I mean, I think the internet has changed a lot of it. I think we've become the audience has become the show. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we all think, like you and I now think we're great film critics and whatever, you know, I guess, or whatever, even if we're not. And so the hero has kind of disappeared, which is too bad because I'm telling you, we ought to know. I think the older people do know. The young people ought to know upon whose shoulders they stand.
The young generation's got a tough road ahead of them.
Yeah, they do.
With music, with everything today, with the whole scene and the whole world.
Well, it's really changed. Everybody who graduates college has one decision, which band they're going to join, you know? Yeah. And that's about it. And searching for meaning is tough, you know.
They don't find it.
No. And
it's not out there.
And to pretend that we have, do you agree, Ratso? I mean, to pretend that there's all that talent. I'm sure there's talented songwriters out there. Don't misunderstand me. There's people that can sing and play. But to pretend that we have that kind of a period like the 60s and the 70s.
It's gone.
It's pretty well gone, yeah. Being a musician is a higher calling than being a politician. And that there's much more expressions of truth in being a musician. In fact, I ran for governor of Texas as an independent, and I was only the second man in the history of Texas to get on the ballot as an independent. First one was Sam Houston 165 years ago.
Okay.
That's how difficult it is.
Wow.
And I think musicians can better run this country than politicians. I mean, we won't get a hell of a lot done in the morning, but we'll work late, and we'll be honest, and musicians are creative people who can solve problems, you know, and if we had musicians and artists, I mean, my definition of an artist is anybody who's ahead of his time and behind in his rent. That's an artist.
What's your definition of politician?
Politician, well, politics, my definition, poly means more than one, and ticks are blood-sucking parasites. Yeah.
I read that.
That's politics. So that's why I'd like them all to, every elected official should be limited to 2 terms,
exactly.
1 in office and 1 in prison.
I'm not disagreeing. They're all, musicians are more honest.
They are horrible. I mean, if we're just talking about everybody in Washington, some of whom, I'm friends with a few of them, but I look at 3 of them who I'm not friends with, and they're the 3 wingnuts. The 3 crazies are Ron Paul, Bernie Sanders of Vermont, and Dennis Kucinich. And I venture to say that those 3 are not corrupt, that those 3 are honest, and they believe what they believe, and they believe in trying to help their constituents. And the rest of them, after you've been there 30 years, man, you don't even know how corrupt you are.
Talk to me about the book you're going around. The Heroes of a Texas Childhood.
It's a book of 23 people that were heroes of mine when I was a kid, and writing it, I observed how tragic their lives were, all of them, and how many obstacles they had to overcome, and how many failures in challenges in their lives, and I think the way they dealt with those is what made them heroes. None of them were lucky people who happened to be in the right place at the right time.
We know any of them?
Well, that's the issue.
Okay.
I would think that Texas kids that have graduated college in Texas, young people, would know who Audie Murphy was.
I watch him all the time.
They don't. They don't.
He's great.
They don't. They don't know who the first black congressperson from the South, Barbara Jordan, who's one of really a modern statesman, who was in all the Watergate hearings, I think Robert Bork hearings, a bunch of others, but she was she had a sense of clarity. Mm-hmm. She's a lot like the Tea Party folks. She's very, very pro-Constitution. And she was one who could have been anything, could have been a Supreme Court justice, should have been Attorney General if it wasn't for Jimmy Carter's stupid choice of Griffin Bell, who we all remember what a wonderful, great man he turned out to be. But you had a Barbara Jordan here who was special. Texans never heard of. The young people don't know who she is. And there's lots of others of this 23. Now, a lot of them you won't know, like Emily Morgan. Emily Morgan was an indentured slave. She was half black, half white. Beautiful woman, apparently. And she's the one who occupied Santa Ana for 48 hours, giving and sending a message to Sam Houston. Now's the time to go. I'll keep this guy busy. And Sam Houston won the Battle of San Jacinto in 18 minutes. Mostly thanks to Emily Morgan keeping this guy's head out of the action, so Santa Ana left his troops all exposed on this plain there, and he just wasn't he was busy with her. Afterwards, she became kind of a myth, a legend. People didn't realize it's a real person, Emily Morgan.
I read that name in the magazine.
And the Yellow Rose of Texas was written.
That was about her.
Which is about her.
Yeah, I read that.
And it means high yellow. It means half black, half white. It means mixed race is what it means, the song. And the song didn't really smash until the 50s when Mitch Miller recorded it. At the same time, the museum or the library in Chicago bought these diaries of this old historian, a British guy, who was covering the Battle of San Jacinto with Sam Houston, which told the historical story of Emily Morgan, and that's when the connection was made, the Yellow Rose of Texas, that she was the Yellow Rose of Texas. And no one knows what happened to Emily Morgan, but she's a hero.
And
one more thing. If I ever am governor of Texas, this book will be mandatory reading in the public schools. I mean, the kids really should know. Have you heard of Quanah Parker, the last chief of the Comanches?
I heard.
That's another one they never heard of. And
I've heard the name.
Great, great man.
Yep.
Now, there was a guy who was definitely up against, you know, 1 foot in the white man's world, one in the Indian world. And of course, that is my. I have learned the Native American Thanksgiving prayer, which goes, "Thanks for nothing."
What's doing with Houston with the play? The World According to Kinky Friedman.
Yeah, Becoming Kinky, The World According to Kinky Friedman, is a play with a young Kinky, middle-aged musician Kinky, and an older Kinky, and Little Juford as Little Juford.
He was in it, I read that.
He's a Jew, and he drives a Ford, basically. But the whole thing was done by a guy, written and directed by Ted Swindley in Nashville, who did Always Patsy Cline, which is a smash. So that's the man I would choose to misrepresent me. The play is funny as hell. Every 10 years, Texas hits. Started with Dallas on TV, the TV show. Then it went to Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Then to Urban Cowboy. And now we're due. So if Becoming Kinky, when it gets to New York, this thing could be, it could be huge. Yeah.
It had to be an honor to have somebody write a play about you?
Well, Ted Swindley says he's never heard of a play successfully staged about a living person. They're always about Will Rogers, Mark Twain, Eva Peron, Patsy Cline.
Wow.
So that's kind of unfortunately it came 10 minutes too late to make any difference in my life. But
how involved were you in putting that play together, or do you have nothing?
No.
Is it a real about you? You saw it, so it obviously.
I was expecting Elvis impersonators or Kinky impersonators. You know, it's not. I mean, the actors are really, really good actors, and the musicians are really good. So there's 4 of them, and by the time it's done, you feel like you've been through the ringer here. One of these people are laughing their ass off, and then suddenly I'm looking out here, every woman in the crowd is crying. That's just what this old guy is, the story the old guy is reading. He's that good.
Wow.
So.
They picked up good characters.
Yeah, so Becoming Kinky, watch for it. Yeah.
So when's it going to be in New York? Do you have an idea?
No, they're organic things. It took Patsy Cline 3 years.
Oh, okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some audio books.
Yeah.
31 mystery novels you wrote?
Yeah, 31 I've churned out, I mean, carefully crafted.
Yeah.
31 books in all. They're not all mysteries.
Okay.
But for the first time, we're making them available as e-books and audio books read by me. And reading your old stuff is really, without slashing your wrist, is very difficult to do. But fortunately, I've forgotten how the mysteries ended. So
it's new to you.
Yeah, it's new to me. They hold up well.
That's good.
And for older people who have had collections of Kinky books in the past, usually what happens is, over the years, cats piss on it, all right? So the best thing you can do, I think, is to go to kinkyfriedman.com. Go to the website, and that way you can link right to Amazon or Apple or Barnes & Noble. Download them that way, both the e-books and the audio books. And there's stuff like Elvis, Jesus, and Coca-Cola. There's a book and Roadkill, the story about Willie Nelson, the mystery about him. And then there's all of my columns in the magazine Texas Monthly have been put together as a book called Drinker with a Writing Problem.
You published some travel log?
I wrote a book about Austin. Is that the one you're referring to?
Great Psychedelic Armadillo Picnic?
Picnic, yeah. That's about Austin, to which I love Austin, but every change is for the worse. I hate to sound like an old guy bitching, which I guess I do, but every change in Austin is definitely for the worse. We have this town that is the live music scene of the world, and all these rich people come in and buy condos so they can be close to this excitement. And you know what happens next? They bitch that the music is too loud.
And that's true. Everywhere in New Jersey, it's the same thing.
That's right. So what happens? The hall monitors come around,
close up the music.
Check the decibel levels. If it's too high, they find these mom and pop places who can't afford to pay it. They go out of business, and what's left are the couple of big famous places that will always be there.
It's
but and smoking bans, the same deal. Smoking, you know, our cigars, Kinky Friedman cigars, KFC.
KFC.
These are made in Honduras. I am really attuned to the fact that it's very undemocratic and un-American to tell people that no one can smoke inside and that you got to be 20 feet away from a building, when we could very well have a place that's called Herb's Cafe, smoking allowed. Then everybody would know if you're going to work there or if you're going to bring your kids in there, there's going to be people smoking. And whereas if Kinky says no smoking, Kinky's bar, then you know nobody's going to be smoking. That's the way America should have resolved this problem. We did not.
How about the Billy Bob Thornton book?
That one I'm excited about. That's going to really be an eye-opener. We'll have a lot of people. I think Angelina Jolie is going to tell some really great stories about Billy. And this is one of the few guys that you've ever heard of who is one of these guys that wrote, directed, and starred in something that didn't suck. Not only did it not suck, but Sling Blade may be one of the best movies of the past 50 years. Right. And the last one I can think of who wrote, starred, and directed in his own film was Orson Welles and Citizen Kane. You're going back a long way.
That was back.
I mean, even Mel Gibson didn't do it with a passion. I mean, he didn't star in it. We're doing a tour of Australia next month in June. I'm doing it with Van Dyke Parks, who's the man who orchestrated the cello on the song Good Vibrations. The Aussies kind of know, they're not looking for mainstream. They're not looking for a tour by Barry Manilow. That doesn't excite them. They would like something like this, like Kinky and Van Dyke, you know? And that's, America's kind of lost that. America, we give all the money to Barry Manilow. I'm not picking on Barry Manilow. I'm just saying he writes songs that make you feel good for a short period of time. And some of the others I mentioned, Christofferson, Willie, Merle Haggard, Bob, those people will, they might make you think. And their songs might last a lifetime, and that's what I strive to do.
Well, these songs have been around. Mr. Haggard's songs have been around for a lot of years. The common man's poet, they call him.
Yes.
He's
That's
good.
a wonderful thing to be. Now, if we just had a common man's politician, we'd have it made.
They can't relate to him. They can't relate to his music, I guess, as politicians.
No. You know, I gave Bill Clinton and George W. a cigar in the White House. And with Bill, I gave him a Cuban cigar, because that was before we had Kinky Friedman cigars. And I told him, remember, Mr. President, we're not supporting their economy, we're burning their fields. I don't deal with money myself. I'm a very rare instance of a Jew who only cares about two things, Libya, and what was the other one?
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen, thank you, Herb. I don't care about money. The only currency I value is the coin of the spirit. And everybody that I admire died broke. All the ones who inspired me, just about, I can't think of one.
Wow.
There wasn't a Hugh Hefner or anybody in that bunch, or Donald Trump. They were all, from Jesus to Mozart being buried in a pauper's grave, to Stephen Foster, Edgar Allan Poe, Schubert, all dying in the gutter. Gandhi. You look at those guys. It's, I don't know who said this. I think one of those, I think Carnegie or somebody, that to make a vast fortune is commendable in your life is commendable, but to die with it is a disgrace.
Tequila?
Tequila coming soon. Tequila, that's the man, Kinky Friedman's Man in Black Tequila, which I call, of course, Mexican mouthwash. And I've become quite addicted to it. It's probably a transfer addiction from other situations earlier when, well, Jimmy Buffett and I in 1976, I believe we snorted the fine line that existed between fiction and nonfiction. I think I can say that.
You're politicking. You think you're done with politicking?
I think so. I think we'll,
take a little rest.
The Lord has bigger things in store for the Kingster than just being a politician. I've also worked out my last will and testament, and when I die, I'm to be cremated, and my ashes are to be thrown in Governor Rick Perry's hair. So we have that worked out.
They ain't making Jews like Jesus anymore.
Well, we'd stop right there. They ain't making Jews like Jesus anymore. It's a politically incorrect song in a time of great political correctness, and you see a tsunami of political correctness hitting our country. To the point where if you got a young Richard Pryor were to walk in, or a Mel Brooks or a George Carlin, and we were going to manage them, we couldn't break them in the mainstream today. We could not break them. And furthermore, if we were rich, so rich, had hundreds of millions of dollars, we could not make the movie Blazing Saddles in America
No more.
today.
That's done. That's history.
Yeah. So,
That's history.
So in my opinion, the country's taken a giant cultural step backwards, and that's why I continue to have the song "They Ain't Making Jews Like Jesus Anymore," which is really an anthem against bigotry, and which, of course, readily employs the dreaded N-word prominently in the song.
You've done a lot, Kinky.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure having you in Southern Country.
May the God of your choice bless you. And one little message for the folks, a little piece of advice: find what you like and let it kill you.